Yep, that is okay.
Yep. All right.
Cool. All right. Well, we're just going to kick it off because we got a half hour. So I want to say welcome to all of the beta testers. I'm super excited to have everyone on. Actually, someone's got a little bit of an echo. Can everyone just maybe, can you guys mute yourselves while you're not talking?
Yes.
Sorry, my dog wanted to come inside. All right.
Oh, that dog.
The dog. All right. Well, welcome everyone for jumping in. I'm super excited to be talking about the next gen stimulant. So, has everyone got to try out the product at least twice, right? Just
yeah.
For nods.
Cool. Yep.
Okay. So, I want to kind of start off by maybe asking, I think the easiest way to do this is to start with anecdotes from you guys. So I kind of want to go, I think we're probably all in different orders on our screens, but if we could get one person at a time, just kind of give like a quick, like 2-sentence, like what you felt and what was different about the pre-workout for you. So, Nico, let's start with you first.
Cool. Yeah. So I took the stim. I did the same workout actually. So I did it back-to-back weeks. Very energetic off. I compared it to kind of like a Glaxon, like Specimen Worldwide type pre-workout.
So why would you call it like Worldwide? Because Worldwide is still a decent high stim, but not without like the Yohimbe and stuff. So what did you feel about it that brought you to that conclusion?
I mean, I just felt like I did a pretty tough workout with it, and I did not feel like I was lagging at all for not having any sort of caffeine. I felt like, I was up there with a 300 or even a 400 milligram type pre-workout that I typically take for that same workout.
Okay, cool. Andrew, what did you feel about yours?
So it was a good gradual increase of energy. I felt it at like the 15-minute mark. And honestly, it was just a really good and amazing pre-workout, dude. Like, honestly, it was enjoyable. It wasn't overpowering. So my upper body workout was just fantastic.
Cool. Nick, Price, let's go with you for the next one.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience. I would say the onset for me, I mean, it hit within 5 minutes for me. Like, my face was on fire. So I felt that pretty quick. The tingles, it's weird. Different pre-workouts hit me different when it comes to beta-alanine. I got the tingles in my ears, and then the first day I got it in my nose specifically. I don't know why. The energy, though, that hit about 10, 15 minutes in, and it just kept building and building and building. I did notice a difference between that and what I would normally consider a caffeine-based pre-workout. I didn't get any kind of up and down feeling I normally would with caffeine. I didn't get a crash. I didn't get even a slow decline. Throughout the entire day, I was just good to go. I mean, felt great. The mood boost was excellent. I noticed significant pumps. I don't know if anyone else did, but overall, it was a great experience for me.
We actually had differing anecdotes in the videos about pump. I think it was Vince that said he didn't have a pump on one of them, but he's in prep, so we kind of attributed it to maybe lower carbs, lower hydration. Victoria, how was your workout for you with the products?
Yeah, I loved it. I felt like I couldn't even tell a difference that it didn't have caffeine. Like, the energy was still awesome, and I felt like I noticed the focus aspects of it more for me versus what I normally take. And I got the tingles too, and it was pretty mild, but I enjoy them for my workout, so I like that.
Awesome. So Vince, I'm curious on the second time you took it, because the first time I know you said you didn't have much of a pump, but the energy, did you find the same good energy in the second workout?
Yeah. No, I found the energy was really good across the board. So with both the pre-workout samples and the thermo sample, the energy was really good. I think in one of the videos I said, like, I wouldn't believe that there wasn't caffeine in there, because to me it felt like a 250 to like 280 milligram caffeine with more, I would say, with more adrenaline activation. It was like a little bit more of a kind of sucked the wind out of me a little bit. But yeah, the first workout, I think it was just prep pumps not getting a pump, because the other workouts I got a pump like quickly, just like I normally would with any other pre-workout. Overall, the energy was really solid. I felt like it lasted through the workout very well. And I would say I probably noticed a peak at like 10 to 12 minutes after I took it. I got like that biggest rush, and then it just slowly tapered down across the workout until I just kind of didn't want to be at the gym anymore. But that was just like how I am right now, not so much a pre-workout thing.
So everyone really had a good energy source on it, and it seemed very stable. Reed, I don't know the full story, but I saw MD in your Instagram, so I'm super curious about your anecdotes on this. What was your experience with it?
Yeah. So I am a doctor. I'm a resident. So I kind of pre-workout for me is like twofold. So I use it in the morning when I train. I have to be at work pretty early, so I train about 5 a.m. usually, and so I count on it to like kind of carry me through the first couple hours of work before I like sip on some coffee or something. And so I was a little nervous about not having caffeine. But honestly, it kind of made me forget that I didn't have caffeine. You know, I'll alternate something like Unloaded to have like the new level focus boost, and I'll alternate some specimen, and I'll do some C-bone. But man, this hit was like, it was like all the euphoria with like none of that like crossing over into anxiety sometimes that you get with those high stims. So it was like a motivation boost and almost like a euphoric feeling with like none of the ill effects. Like, definitely something I'll be using in the future. So I appreciate it. And I also felt pretty focused. I almost forgot to take caffeine because I was thinking like, all right, I better get some caffeine in my body, when I get to work. And I forgot like 3 or 4 hours later, and I was still kind of riding that high. So I felt good, and there's definitely no crash. So I loved it. I'm curious to see what it is.
I've really enjoyed the anecdotes because I really don't mean to pat myself on the back, but I chose a really good couple of people that seem to really know their bodies really well. I
was just gonna say the exact same thing. You folks, when you learn about this ingredient and read about it and start to understand it, you're gonna realize how well you're nailing this. Like, I'm very, very impressed with like some of the numbers I'm hearing and then some of the effects. So this is everything. You're not feeling placebo effect. And so yeah, the one word I like to use for this is just smooth. So not getting like into the like overriding into the anxiety effect is exactly what happens with me on this too. So congrats to everyone. Like, yeah, Ben, you did a good job thanking everyone.
I want to know, because we're going to talk about the ingredient next. I think after you talk with Andrew, I want Mike to actually kind of go into what the ingredient is, how it works and stuff. But one thing I want to know, there was New Level in the product. So you brought up the new Level, how much you enjoyed that. And when Nick first brought up, he was like, I don't know if there's a pump ingredient in this, but I'm getting a good pump. New Level is technically arginine silicate, which is nitrosamine as well. So there's kind of this fun double, like when you take Unload, that was what that's why we did New Level, was so that we could get a pump ingredient into that product without people really realizing it, but it still drives blood flow. So Andrew, your shirt's cracking me up.
Why?
Oh no, I'm sorry, Andrew Nolan. Can you tell us what you felt with the product too?
Yeah, so I did mine on leg day, one of the servings, and it reminded me almost like Cerebral, but like with new pept in there. It's kind of like how I felt. Kind of that same nootropic feeling. I didn't get like a better pump than I usually would. But definitely the energy was there to sustain my workout since I did a dynamic day, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, no complaints on that. On the energy, didn't drop throughout the day. It's just smooth energy, because usually I need something to pick me up after that, just for like client work and stuff. And I did not need that. No brain fog the rest of the day, which was awesome. But yeah, definitely like at that cerebral, almost like a new peps feel.
Yeah, Mike. So I guess we should. I want to talk about the ingredient first, and then the company that's using it. But the ingredient itself, we can share, because
yeah, I was gonna see if anyone can kind of tease it out, maybe.
I don't think it's so niche. Oh, we should ask. Does anyone have an idea of what the ingredient could be? It's a very
okay. So yeah, I was gonna ask kind of a quiz question. So I mean, but first, if anyone wants to guess if they have any ideas the ingredient is, the clue would be that it is. A lot of people didn't think that they like had missed any caffeine, and so that's going to be pretty close to the mark. If no one has an idea, my quiz question would be, what are the 3 major metabolites of caffeine? If anyone knows that.
I'm looking between Andrew Nolan and Reed. I don't
know. I know caffeine's like a methylxanthine, so I'm pretty sure probably xanthine is a breakdown product. Oh, you stumped me.
You're close.
I'm thinking it feels more like yerba mate extract or something.
I bet it targets adenosine receptors somehow, whether it's like probably an allosteric modulator of like the adenosine receptor is my guess, which would be why I didn't have any caffeine withdrawal, but that's just a guess.
Yes. You guys are good. I'm telling you. Okay, so the three metabolites of caffeine are theophylline, theobromine, and the third one is paraxanthine. And so when you take caffeine, it breaks into these three, and paraxanthine is the main one. But the issue is that theobromine and theophylline have very long half-lives. Some people who are slow and fast, there's three different types of caffeine metabolizers. They're slow, medium, fast, pretty much. And the people who are fast metabolizers, they can just take caffeine and go to bed. Other people who are slow caffeine metabolizers, what seems to happen is that the theophylline and the theobromine just wreck them. And they really can't handle caffeine as much because of those. The half-lives just take too long to burn out. So what this ingredient is, Ben, can I share it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's paraxanthine. And so it is the third and most major metabolite of caffeine. So it is a xanthine. It is an adenosine receptor antagonist. And did I say that right? And so it's working very similarly to caffeine, but without the other two metabolites. When you read about caffeine, there's a lot of studies showing the caffeine's effects. It's really paraxanthine that's carrying a lot of the major effects. When you take this ingredient, you're not getting some of the other residual effects from the other two metabolites. And so what the plan is here is that you're going to get a more consistent and smoother effect, especially across users. So people who are having trouble with the other metabolites of caffeine may really, really enjoy this. And it's just going to be basically more consistent across the users. And because of that, there's like a little bit less variability. If you want to hear a little bit more, there is our most recent Shawn Wells podcast. He starts talking about he's got a new ingredient coming, and this is that. And so the trade name is going to be enfinity, ENFI. I'm so tired. FINITY. And so this is a Shawn Wells ingredient with some folks, and it's paraxanthine. So start digging into paraxanthine, and you'll realize that there's a lot of stuff about it, but for whatever reason, not a lot of supplement information, even though it is the main metabolite that comes from taking caffeine and is performing a lot of the action. However, you're not spraying off into the other two metabolites. So more consistent for everyone.
So it really kind of ironically, I mean, I guess it's not ironic. You guys all nailed it really well. The pre-workout, it's smooth. It doesn't take you too long, but you also you kind of are taking caffeine in a way. You're getting the same effect. So that's why you're not getting the withdrawal. You're not feeling bad, and you're kind of forgetting that it's there. So the two products, one was a fat burner, one was a pre-workout. I know Nick only got pre-workouts, but I think everyone else got the fat burner. So the fat burner, I think, had a little bit of GBB in it. Otherwise the products are like very, if something you would expect to be on a PricePlow channel. So one of the things that I kind of put into the post, and I kind of wanted it to stew around your brains, was that the brand it's a pretty well-known brand, but they're kind of known for innovation. Which is why they're bringing out this new ingredient. So one of the things I kind of want to ask you guys is if you had, I don't know, from the experience or whatever, if you had any ideas of who the brand actually might be.
I guess a clue would be, if you need a clue, is like, this is going to be exclusive to a brand. So it's not going to be a small brand it's going to be someone who can probably afford to lock down some exclusivity over, I don't know the exact time, and I don't know, maybe that's not even ironed out.
So did anyone have, Nick?
Well, I was going to guess Glaxon, but given you're talking about a large brand, would it happen to be someone within Iovate, like MuscleTech?
Yeah, so it's pretty hilarious. I don't know how Victoria guessed it, but the brand is actually MuscleTech. So she actually wore a MuscleTech sweatshirt for this. It's kind of I'm hoping that there's a bit of a reaction to this in some ways, because MuscleTech, when we came up with this whole thing, like they kind of came to us saying, like, look, we know that there's like the that there's cell tech memes online, and there's all these different memes about MuscleTech, and for so long they were really seen as a very innovative brand for a very long time, and as of recently they've kind of fallen by the wayside in terms of eyeballs for innovation, and so this is going to be a really big kind of splashback into things for them. So I'm super excited to share just like everyone's anecdotes from this, because you guys all did a really great job. And as we get into this, I'm going to make sure we get out like real actual samples that have the actual name of the product on it for you guys. So look forward to that. So all in all, I wanted to say just a huge thank you to everyone for being a part of this. It took a little bit to put together, but I hope you guys all had a great time. Did anyone have anything they wanted to add with how everything went? Go for it.
Well, I had a question about the metabolites of caffeine. I noticed there was no acute spikes in my blood pressure or anything like that. Would that be because something like theophylline is out of the mix?
I believe. Honestly, yeah, I did an article with Shawn for this a while ago, so I don't remember all the specifics. But yeah, we'll be posting that soon. But I think that is kind of one of the perks here. So, do you wear a blood pressure cuff or whatever, or do you just kind of feel it?
No, I'm pretty in tune with my blood pressure. I just noticed because anytime I've taken anything with theophylline in it, it kind of feels like my heart, everything is just racing. It doesn't matter the amount. I don't know if I just react negatively to theophylline as a standalone, but I did not get that from this at all.
We used to use
that's.
Yeah, theophylline used to be used in medicine as an asthma treatment, but people couldn't tolerate the cardiac side effects of it. So they can still use it, but yeah, it's not used very often, but it has niche applicability.
When I was at ISSN, they actually showed a decent amount of data on this ingredient at the conference, and I got to sit down with MuscleTech's lead formulator and talk to them about the ingredient. So the really cool thing about the products is that they're going to be called caffeine free. And so I kind of asked, like, well, does this make it stimulant free? So exactly to your point, Nick, Enfinity doesn't seem to, I can't like claim this, but as far as we can tell, it really doesn't have like a really drastic increase in heart rate or blood pressure, which is, I think a lot of people have different definitions of what a stimulant is. You know, this does work on the adenosine receptor, so in a lot of ways it is a stimulant. In my mind, if it doesn't raise your heart rate or blood pressure, it doesn't really seem to be a stimulant. But you guys all had full pre-workout experiences off of it, so I think it definitely would be irresponsible to call it stimulant free. But they're hoping to have a product. They're really hoping to revolutionize the way that products feel with caffeine versus this. I'm told, none of us would have this experience yet, but I'm told that if you run this product for like a good 60 days and you come back to caffeine feels very dirty after you've used this raw. This is very smooth and clean. And so I picked a lot of you guys because I know that you all try different products, and the concept for this is like a smart pre-workout where it feels like, you know, you're improving your mind to muscle connection, you're improving your overall well-being. It's not just a stim bomb. Not that, you know, PricePlow's community is all about stim bombs, but it's a bit of a change from, I mean, even what we talked about, like Specimen is a very, you know, heavy stimulant product, and it's used for a specific reason, but they're hoping, and I'd be interested if you guys have any feedback on this, that this product is going to usher in like kind of an era of a cleaner feeling pre-workout that isn't as anxiety inducing for many people, I guess.
Yeah. Well, like right with what Nick was saying, it sounds like you are like a perfect demographic for this type of product, and you're the kind of person that it was made for, because a lot of people do get that dirty feeling from caffeine or the other metabolites if they're in the pre-workouts. So kind of be curious to get you a tub and everything and see how you do.
Yeah.
So,
no, go ahead.
So
I was going to say interesting. Oh, sorry, dude. I couldn't tell who was talking.
Go ahead, dude.
Andrew, we haven't heard from you much, so give us one.
So basically, I feel like I definitely am more on the nootropic focus side. My primary supplement is Gamer. So using this was very similar in regards to the mental focus and clarity, and it was just a good overall feeling throughout the whole entire thing. I was, like I said, I was genuinely impressed. So this is gonna change the game for a bit.
I was curious how much everyone's like normal caffeine dosages on an average day, including everything, working out, all that different stuff, because the gamer call out is kind of an interesting one. It's a lower caffeine product. It's meant to be used at night. So it kind of is, I would expect to be a similar experience to Paraxanthine, because you're not dealing with those long last, like you're not getting rid of, it's what you're doing, metabolizing them out. You're not getting rid of 300, 400 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, me personally, I like using gamer or the lower stim while I'm working out because I like the mental clarity and focus. And I have so much caffeine throughout my day that I don't need the extra caffeine when I'm working out. We've talked about it. Energy drinks is my life at this current point in time. So basically, like, that's why I use gamer when I work out. But honestly, this new ingredient was amazing, like absolutely badass. So thanks for this experience, guys. On the real, this was sick.
For sure.
And Ben, getting back to the part where calling it stimulant free, caffeine free, yeah, I give that maybe, but stimulant free, I would say is grossly irresponsible, because the way this works, like if you take this before bed, the chances are you're going to have a worse time sleeping. So I don't know, like generally like 4 p.m. is like a good cutoff for me on caffeine. I might be able to stretch this one to like 5 p.m., but overall, I don't think, stimulant free is definitely a bad thing to call this.
Are you a slow metabolizer? Is that what you would consider yourself?
I consider myself regular, like medium.
Reed,
yeah, I have a question for Mike. Oh, I was going to see if there was any like data as far as like synergism with like small amounts of caffeine, because my thought is, you have these, two metabolites on either side. You have caffeine and paraxanthine, and the paraxanthine can almost like, in a sense, in like OChem style, like keep more caffeine around for longer, so you can theoretically use a lower dose of caffeine and it would synergize. I don't know if y'all have heard anything about that, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And there might be some tinkering that you could do on the side. From the studies I remember seeing, like the pharmacology, they were really just comparing against each other. So I don't think there was any like blending going on.
I think, unfortunately,
but no, that would make sense. Like if you want just a little bit of that dirtiness of, because caffeine does strike a little bit harder. And so there might be opportunities to blend later on. I don't think that's what Iovate and MuscleTech are going to do at this time, though. So you'd have to stack in your own coffee or something.
The nature of the ingredient is really that they're trying to show the difference from caffeine, so they're probably not going to study it with caffeine. But I was just thinking, like, logically, if you're concerned about the amount of time theophylline and theobromine stick around, you could use a smaller amount of caffeine and end up with more paraxanthine in the body, even if it's not the metabolite you're creating. So I love the idea. I'm definitely going to be playing with it. I can speak for myself, at least. Nick, what's up?
I did have a question. Now, with them bringing this to the market in terms of like pre-workouts and powder supplements, what about the stability and say like an energy drink? Would this be making it into beverages?
So yeah, I should say MuscleTech only has the exclusivity in powders, but there is a drink available that I can link to you guys. I think you actually can get them already if you want to try this out some more. I know I'm curious, so I figure you guys probably are.
So did they have any studies with this ingredient and then maybe cortisol? Because in my opinion, like the fat burner, I would say would be awesome if we're in contest prep for a show or something. You want to take that in the morning. We're trying to maximize fat loss, but we don't want to rise cortisol throughout the entire day.
Right.
Because so, I mean, was the fat burner combined with yohimbine or synephrine or something?
I'm actually pulling up the supplement facts panel right now. Mike, do you know anything about cortisol? Okay.
I don't remember. Not that we wrote about.
But it's like, it may be more kidney friendly, right? So maybe if you have just a slightly elevated EFGR, then, I mean, maybe.
So the fat burner was L-carnitine, tyrosine, taurine, green coffee bean extract, standardized for chlorogenic acids, enfinity at 300 milligrams, coleus extract, grains of paradise. So if you got a little bit of spice, that was part of it. They also had axivite, which is a microencapsulated phenylcapsaicin, black pepper, and huperzine. So no yohimbine for this, but if you got some sweating, it was definitely from the grains of paradise. Not a lot for cortisol really there.
No, I think he's asking like, yeah, if this might behave better with cortisol compared to caffeine.
Oh
man, if I would have known that we were going to release the ingredient, I would have had my laptop here with the documents.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Blame it, Ben. No, this is stuff I should know. It's been a while since we wrote about it, so I just don't remember seeing that. We'll check in and we can follow up.
Cool. Did anyone else have any questions? I'm loving the commentary. Yeah, Nico.
So was it, stupid question maybe, but was it the same amount in both products?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that going to be like a normal dosage for, I guess moving forwards?
So we got you guys all 2 scoop dosages for everything. So actually everything is a 1-2 scoop, but we sent you the full scoops just because I know you guys can take it. But yeah, you're going to see 150 or 300 here. To be honest with you, that's just MuscleTech dosaging though. So I don't know if everyone else is going to do that when they get their hands on it.
I think, yeah. So originally when I met with Shawn Wells, he gave me 3 200 milligram capsules, and I took a couple of, I took them separately, and I just don't think 200 was enough. And so I think MuscleTech came to the same conclusion that 300 is a sweet spot. And I forget who said it, but they said that they felt like it was like 250 to 280 milligrams of caffeine. And that's like literally like, that's kind of exactly how I feel. Like 300 of this seems to translate to a slightly lesser dosage of caffeine. Because it's a little bit smoother and a little bit less like anxiety driving. So yeah, if you did a 1 scoop, I just don't think it's just gonna hit good enough for most of us. Although probably for introductory users that'd be fine. So yeah, 300, 275 to like 325 seems to be a pretty good sweet spot.
The one anecdote, I forget who said it, that I was curious about was they took it in the morning and they just felt like they didn't need caffeine for the rest of the day, or at least like I don't know if it was in the morning thing, but they were working afterwards. They didn't feel like they needed caffeine for an extended amount of time, which is kind of interesting because paraxanthine is the quickest out of the body. Mike, was there anything in the data in terms of long acting energy with it, or like the lack of the crash?
No, I mean, we're getting into like anecdotal territory. You're not going to see like people talking about crash as much in the studies, I guess. I remember Shawn talking about like less habituation as well. So not that I know of. When talking to Shawn, like he seems to blame the other 2 metabolites for all the problems. So he's going to be biased because it's his ingredient. So take it with a grain of salt. But that's gotta. Yeah,
don't hate on theobromine on all the other ingredients.
But blaming the other.
Yeah, theophylline would be where I would put most of the blame.
Yeah. I think it was Reed who took it in the morning before working.
Yeah, probably. Cool. Awesome.
As far as like pump goes with this product, like I know that there was something like a little bit something in there for it. Do you think this would work better than a caffeine for a pump product that you want stimulant and focus in, just because it might have?
We lost him. Of all the timing during a podcast, how is it? Nick, you want to go, and then when he comes back, we can bring him back.
Yeah. Hopefully he is back, because I was really curious to where he was going with that.
Yeah.
Is this an ingredient that would play well with other adenosine, such as like say a teocrine or a dynamine? Because I know MuscleTech uses both those a lot, so I was just curious if those would all pair well together.
So they're not in here, but I believe Shawn's name is on the patent for both of those as well. So I can't see a world where he wouldn't. Mike might know a little bit more specifically, but I wouldn't have any reason to believe not.
I would say yes, though, just because like I'm a big dynamine fan, despite the taste. Because it seems to be better at like hitting the dopamine receptors. So that would, I would think, pair in pretty well, personally.
There's only one way to find out, Nick,
Yeah, right.
I gotta say, because dynamine I love, but for some reason just teocrine and caffeine by itself, I just never get any kind of effect from teocrine. It's always dynamine that I feel. So I was just picturing the paraxanthine with the dynamine and how much more of a drive that would give you. Because the products by themselves give me plenty of drive. Like I didn't need any extra anything throughout the day. Like I'm usually a habitual caffeine user. So the fact that I went 6 hours without anything else kind of a testament to the product. So.
For sure. It's funny. Most people, I think, are bigger Dynamine fans these days. But Nick, I think you were definitely working in retail during the T-Cream craze. Like everyone in the world wanted T-Cream in their pre-workout. People who didn't even know what it was wanted it in store. But ironically, it seems to be that Dynamine ended up sticking around longer. So I'm sure, Nick, you will be throwing some Dynamine in with one of these very soon. And if you guys don't follow Nick, you definitely should in terms of the products he takes and the reviews that he gives. But
I like
Vince,
that's the limit.
You do. I definitely want to hear the rest of Vince's question. So Vince, you were talking about caffeine and versus paraxanthine.
Yeah, I would be curious because I am self-proclaimed meathead, so I really just like enough energy to give me like pushing a little bit more weight, a lot of focus with products. So like I really enjoyed how I felt with the pre-workout. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to buy it whenever it comes out because it feels perfect for like a bodybuilding workout. I was just thinking if you were stacking more pump products on top of it, if you think it would be more effective than pairing it with caffeine, because caffeine obviously has a relatively strong vasoconstriction effect. So it would be like you get more out of what you're using potentially.
So I think Mike probably has an answer because he's looking at us. One thing I want to know.
I think so.
It definitely, we have an article on the blog you got to check out about high dose caffeine, and there's a big section about vasoconstriction. I don't really believe it constricts all that much, but Mike, I think Mike has an answer.
No, I mean, yeah, we'd have to look at those other metabolites. And if the other metabolites are more vasoconstrictive than paraxanthine itself, then you're going to have winner in terms of pumps. So that, I guess, like, to be continued. But it seems to be that way. But it might be like we're kind of like just small minor details at this point. So I'm not sure if the average person would be able to feel that in terms of like comparing it to like throwing some drugs in the situation. Cialis, like our last podcast. So
I was curious because I personally noticed like pre-workouts that are over like 300 milligrams of caffeine, I generally avoid because I notice that I get less of a pump fit. I don't know, that could just be nocebo, but it's something that like I think if this is dosed at 300 and it feels like I said probably around like 250, 280 milligrams of caffeine, that's right on the money for me, and I think that it could just be a really good combo.
Yeah, Reed, did you have something you want to say?
Oh no, I was saying that was a really good thought because by kind of like bypassing theophylline, and going straight to the paraxanthine, theoretically that would be the biggest culprit if caffeine were to be vasoconstricting, which I'd have to look more into that myself. But that's a really good thought.
It makes sense logically that removing the theophylline from the equation would possibly lead to less vasoconstriction, maybe not vasodilation itself. For the sake of conversation, the normal pre-workout has 4 grams of citrulline, 2.5 grams of betaine anhydrous, 1.5 grams or 1.6 grams of new level, and 1 gram of taurine. So in terms of pump, there's a decent amount in there. And so one of the things that I always kind of bring up too is like the amount that caffeine is vasoconstrictive. I also honestly believe that most pump ingredients are vastly outperforming that in terms of vasodilation. Like it's a lot more aggressive in my opinion. And one of the things that I like is they didn't really go heavy on pump ingredients, but it seems like everyone had a decent pump. I think that a lot of companies are really kind of racing to see how much pump they can put in. But I do think that there's like a terminal velocity in terms of how much blood you can move. Like once my arms are fully pumped, like I can't put more blood in there. It's kind of like a dead end street for me.
One thing I will say is I don't know about anybody else, but like my nutrition and my sleep were on point. So like I didn't use these whenever I was lacking in one of the areas or the other. So maybe that was also my experience too. But I would say sometimes people use the supplements as a crutch whenever they lack in some other areas. So like I agree with you, Ben. Like I don't get any vasoconstriction with caffeine. Again, like I think that kind of would like determine our anecdotal evidence of like what we felt. Well.
I definitely tried to find people. I mean, it's hard to find people who like live like a, same day every single day, but, try to find people who at least have like a a base. Like most of you guys have been doing this long enough that you know what you're doing. You wouldn't take your pre-workout on a day that you'd have a bad workout. So, and most of you have already, you know, kind of shared your thought process and your anecdotes on different pre-workouts. So I knew at least you guys knew what you were doing. Cool. Victoria, I feel bad. You're so quiet. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Time.
Well, I just had a question that wasn't like ingredient based like the other people of what the flavor was, because I was really curious, and if you have a projected like release date for this.
I actually don't know what all of them were. To be honest with you, I have no clue what they sent you guys.
So we all got different flavors.
I think there's 2 flavors per product. You can't quote me on this. I do know that one of you guys got the flavor. I think Nick talked about flavor in his product. Was it someone got it so specifically correct that MuscleTech was like, I don't know how they. I mean, like blind taste testing flavors. Okay, so the 2 flavors I do know is that the pre-workout's coming in a yuzu lemonade, so that would be citrus. So I'm guessing that's what you got, Andrew. And Burn IQ, which is, so it's called Euphoric, but with an IQ on the end is the pre-workout, and the Burn is called Burn IQ. That came in a mango chili lime, and it's also going to come in a
Nailed it.
Yeah, I tasted something like spicy.
Yeah, that was the Grains of Paradise.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to call that chili something. Like if, you know, it's like Ghost says there's spicy pineapple margarita stuff, you know. You got to go with it, you know. So
that's right up Mike's alley. Are you still eating Grains of Paradise daily? Like you did like years ago?
So I threw away, honestly, no, because the grinder was a train wreck and I didn't buy a new one. I should though, because I've actually been back into black pepper lately and like hitting it hard on my brisket and stuff. So once I get I do like it better. I just need a better grinder. It's really not that hard. But no, I love that flavor of that stuff. Thanks for remembering that.
there was a time where every time I came into Austin, Mike was putting Grains of Paradise on anything we ate. So awesome. All right, guys. Well, so I got to make sure we get everyone off in time. So I appreciate everyone's time. If you guys have any extra questions, feel free to send them on over in the DMs. But we'll be putting this together in a kind of a cool video. I really appreciate everyone jumping in and everyone's help. I hope we get to do this again soon.
Thanks for putting this together, Ben.
Thank you, guys. Have a great one.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.